They say money doesn't change people. It only shows who they really are. One billionaire wanted to know the truth. In the middle of his mansion, he placed a single black credit card on the glass table. Across from him sat 3 women, his fiancée, his childhood sweetheart, and his maid. The fiancée frowned instantly. Why is she here? She is only a maid. This test is for women of class, not a servant. The sweetheart hissed, Exactly? She will embarrass you. What does she know about wealth? Let her clean floors, not touch your card. Even the bodyguards chuckled. The maid lowered her head, her fingers shaking. She whispered, Sir, maybe I should step aside. But the billionaire leaned back in his chair, a strange smile on his face. No, today I am in a good mood, and I am curious. I want to see the real her when she is tested with wealth. The fiancée burst out laughing. The sweetheart joined, clapping her hands. Fine, then, they sneered. Let the poor girl join our little game. This will be entertaining. The maid's face burned with shame. She was a nobody, and everyone reminded her of it. Still, the challenge began. The fiancée grabbed the card first, tossing her hair proudly. She returned hours later with gold jewelry, designer bags, and perfumes. She dropped them loudly on the table. This is the life I deserve as your future wife, she said. Everyone clapped. The billionaire only nodded. The sweetheart took the card next. By evening, she returned in a brand-new Mercedes-Benz. The engine roared the gates as she stepped out, tossing the keys in the air. I have loved you since childhood. Now I finally have my reward. The room cheered again. The billionaire's face stayed cold. Finally, the maid picked the card slowly. Everyone snickered. The fiancé whispered loudly, Watch her go by pots and soap. The sweetheart laughed so hard she almost fell off her chair. The maid walked out silently. Hours passed. Then night fell. Midnight came. She still had not returned. The fiancé smirked. She has surely run away with your money. The sweetheart laughed. What fool, trusting a maid with a billionaire's card. Even the guards shook their heads. Suddenly, the door creaked open. The maid walked in, her face pale, her clothes dusty. She carried only one small nylon bag. The fiancé covered her mouth, laughing. That's all? A dirty bag. The sweetheart clapped mockingly. Pathetic. We told you she was useless. The billionaire raised his hand. His voice was sharp. Enough. Let her speak. The maid's eyes filled with tears as she opened the bag. Inside was a tiny pair of baby shoes. Everyone frowned. The fiancée rolled her eyes. Nonsense. But the maid's voice trembled as she spoke. I went to the children's hospital. I saw babies dying because their parents had no money. I used the card to pay their bills. I bought medicine. I bought food. And these shoes, I bought them for a baby boy who has no mother. He reminded me of you, sir, when you were abandoned as a child. The billionaire's face went white. His chest tightened. His mother's memory flashed before him. His painful childhood returned. The fiancée tried to protest. But I bought diamonds. The sweetheart shouted, I brought a car. The billionaire slammed his hand on the table. His voice thundered. Enough? You bought greed. She bought back my heart. His eyes filled with tears as he turned to Maid. You were mocked. You were treated like dirt. But with one card, you showed me love money cannot buy. You broke my heart not with betrayal, but with truth. The fiancée's diamonds sparkled uselessly on the floor. The Mercedes outside sat in silence. But the billionaire's tears fell, because the one person everyone looked down on, the one person they called just a maid, had shown him the true meaning of wealth. People claim that money doesn't transform individuals. It merely reveals their authentic nature. A certain billionaire sought to discover this truth. Within the heart of his estate, he positioned a solitary black credit card upon the crystal table. Before him were seated 3 women, his betrothed, his childhood companion, and his household servant. The betrothed scowled immediately. What brings her presence here? She remains merely a servant. This examination is meant for women of distinction, not domestic help. The childhood companion spat venomously. Precisely, her presence will bring you shame. What understanding does she possess of prosperity? Allow her to tend the floors, not handle your card. The bodyguards even chuckled amongst themselves. The servant bowed her head lower, her hands trembling. She murmured softly, "Master, perhaps I should withdraw." However, the billionaire reclined in his seat, an enigmatic expression crossing his features. "Absolutely not. This day finds me in excellent spirits. My curiosity has been stirred. I wish to witness her true character when confronted with fortune." The betrothed erupted in laughter. The childhood companion accompanied her, striking her palms together. "Very well, then," they mocked. "Allow the impoverished girl to participate in our entertainment. This shall prove most amusing." The servant's cheeks flushed with humiliation. She represented nothing, and each person present ensured she remembered this fact. Nevertheless, the trial commenced. The betrothed seized the card initially, flipping her locks with arrogance. She emerged hours afterward bearing golden ornaments, luxury handbags, and fragrances. She deposited them noisily upon the surface. "This represents the existence I merit as your intended bride," she declared. Everyone applauded. The billionaire merely acknowledged with a nod. The childhood companion claimed the card subsequently. As evening approached, she arrived driving a pristine Mercedes-Benz. The motor thundered beyond the entrance as she emerged, casting the keys skyward. "My affection for you spans from youth. At last, I received my compensation." The gathering celebrated once more. The billionaire's expression remained frigid. At last, the servant lifted the card with deliberation. Everyone snickered quietly. The betrothed spoke audibly in hushed tones. "Observe her purchase cookware and cleaning supplies." The childhood companion's amusement was so intense she nearly toppled from her seat. The servant departed without utterance. Time elapsed. Darkness descended. The midnight hour arrived. Her return remained absent. The betrothed smiled smugly. "She has undoubtedly fled with your fortune." The childhood companion chuckled. "What foolishness! Placing trust in a servant with a billionaire's card." The security personnel shook their heads in agreement. Abruptly, the entrance groaned apart. The servant entered, her complexion ashen, her garments covered in dust. She bore only a single small plastic bag. The betrothed placed her hand over her mouth, cackling. "That constitutes everything? A soiled bag?" The childhood companion applauded sarcastically. "Pitiful, we warned you of her worthlessness." The billionaire lifted his palm. His tone cut sharply. "Silence. Allow her to speak." The servant's eyes brimmed with moisture as she revealed the bag's contents. Within lay a miniature pair of infant footwear. Everyone's brows furrowed. The betrothed's eyes rolled dismissively. Absurd. Yet the servant's voice quavered as she continued. "I visited the pediatric medical facility. I witnessed infants perishing because their families lack resources. I utilized the card to settle their accounts. I purchased medications. I acquired nourishment. These shoes, I obtained them for a motherless infant boy. His appearance reminded me of you, master, during your own abandoned childhood." The billionaire's complexion drained of color. His breathing grew labored. His mother's image materialized before him. His agonizing youth resurfaced. The betrothed attempted objection. "However, I acquired precious stones." The childhood companion declared, "I obtained an automobile." The billionaire struck his palm against the table. His voice roared, "Silence. You purchased avarice. She purchased a return of my soul." His vision clouded with tears as he faced the servant. "You endured ridicule. You received treatment as refuse. Yet with a single card, you demonstrated affection that wealth cannot purchase. You wounded my heart not through treachery, but through honesty." The betrothed's diamonds glittered meaninglessly upon the ground. The Mercedes beyond remained in stillness. However, the billionaire's tears descended because the individual everyone dismissed, the person they labeled merely a servant, had illuminated for him the genuine essence of prosperity.